It's the SKOR North Twin Show.
He had a few things going. I think it was just a overall, nice outing for him. He was, I think his command was good. We've probably seen it better, but he attacked. I think one thing that we saw this series, and Sonny, showed us this today, when you attack and you get ahead, good things generally do follow, and then you have so many options after that. But when he got out there and got ahead of them and wasn't afraid to use his fastball against them.
Wow. So many talkers just off that game yesterday. People outraged over Sonny Gray getting in. What did he have, like 80 pitches or something through 6, right?
He was just shy of that, yes. Yeah, he got a quick hook compared to what the Twins have been doing for most of this season.
And then Griffin Jacks he's been really good for like 3 months, and then the bases get loaded. Then Caleb Thielbar comes in,
played umpire.
I thought he painted the corner. Quite frankly, all this technology telling me that pitch was inside. Maybe you should protect the plate when it's a full count, close game, bases loaded, huh, guy? Maybe swing the bat instead of throw the bat, huh?
That was all about framing, Phil. That's all about framing. Did you see the glove moving, the framing?
It was a little twitch. So yeah, we'll get into a couple things off the game, and then we'll get into some bigger picture things here on our Monday State of the Twins episode of the SKOR North Twin Show, where we just want the Twins to win a playoff game for the first time in almost 20 years. And the show is presented by our friends at Modest Brewing. So Modest Brewing is steps away from Target Field. You can find cans available in liquor stores throughout the metro. You can go in and find all sorts of amazing, only available in the tap room beers. One of the coolest craft breweries in the Twin Cities. And you can go over there for a pregame, for a postgame, and then walk your butt right into Target Field or the Light Rail. The first live podcast we ever did on the SKOR North Twin Show before the hiatus was back in 2019 in the back room at Modest. And so we appreciate their support. And if you're a Twins fan, get on over there. Go to modestbrewing.com to check out what they currently have to offer. And before we get into the state of the Twins here, so this week, this is the first big organized fundraiser that we have put together here at SKOR North in several years. It's for a cause that's near and dear to us. So my uncle spent time for 3 months after a massive car accident rehabbing brain and other physical injuries at the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute. We have friends who have gone through. We have former coworkers that have gone through. So Courage Kenny works with children and adults who experience life-altering injuries and disabilities, and they offer a full range of innovative rehab therapy. We are looking to raise $10,000 or more this week at skornorth.com/bid. And for the YouTube audience, Declan has pulled these up on the screen here. So starting today on this Monday, there's items you can buy, there's items you can bid on, or you can just straight up donate if you want. On the Twins front, we have, and these are buy it nows, executive balcony tickets to an upcoming Twins game. You can hang out with us, Mackie and Judd, on the, this is like all the way up, like in left field, overlooking everything, the best views of downtown. Let me get the game here. It's Saturday, September 23rd, 1:10 first pitch. Those tickets are a buy it now right now at skornorth.com/bid. We also have a Champions Club experience for the Saturday, August 26th game, 6:10 first pitch. You also get a full team autographed jersey by the 2023 Twins. It's 4 tickets. You can bid on that right now. skornorth.com/bid. There's another buy it now if you want to hang out with Declan in the Pearl Jam suite. The Pearl Jam concert. Ooh. Pairs of suite tickets, food, and some non-alcoholic beverages. The pairs of tickets. You get 2 tickets for $500. Buy it now right now. skornorth.com/bid. And you can listen to Declan imitate.
Can't find a better deal.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So thank you in advance for helping us raise at least $10,000. Are you guys ready to dive into the categories here?
Yes, but quickly, Phil, September 23rd, the Twins are playing Shohei Ohtani and the Angels.
Ooh.
So this is not an American League Central blockbuster against the Royals.
Let's go.
This is I'm pretty excited for this game, actually.
That's gonna be amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Shohei in person. So hopefully he's in the lineup or pitching on that day. Be awesome. So, all right, boys, overall snapshot here. We'll start with the overall sort of picture of the Twins. They are currently 62-58, still 4.5 games up on the Guardians. Magic number countdown, 39 games. 39 games
Under
left
40.
till we pop champagne and put goggles on. All right, Twins offense still ranked 17th in runs scored per game. Twins defense and pitching ranked 4th in run prevention. It's been worse in the second half of the season than pre-All-Star break, but they're still top 5 overall in terms of run prevention. Baseball Reference gives the Twins an 89% chance to make the playoffs. Fangraphs gives the Twins a 91% chance to make the playoffs. Baseball Reference says 2% to win the World Series. Fangraphs says 3% to win the World Series. And if the playoffs started today, the Twins would host a 3-game wildcard series against the Toronto Blue Jays. That's sort of the overall snapshot before we get to the categories.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts? Any observations?
Yes, I do have one. First of all, this team still is maddening because they lose 3 of 4 in Detroit, but then they win 2 of 3 against the Phillies. But I will say this, and this goes to something that you guys have been talking about for a while now. But if they can get pitching like they did the last 2 days, that is how you win a playoff game. Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, Phil. I mean, there is nothing that can happen, in my opinion, realistically now that is going to allow Cleveland or another team from this division to overtake them. So they are going to the playoffs. And I think that the mission to end the losing streak is very plausible. Again, if you get what Pablo Lopez gave you on Saturday, which coming off a horrific start by Dallas Keuchel on Friday was just an absolute gem, or what Gray gave you on Sunday, which, you know what I liked about that too? So, like, I came out of the game that Pablo Lopez pitched on Saturday, and I thought, okay, game 1 starter right there, right? Like, he's pitching well enough right now to be the game. And Sonny, who's very competitive, is like, no, sports dad, screw you. I'm the game 1 guy. So I actually sort of like that. You got 2 great pitching performances against a team that, through Friday was crushing the baseball. So I can see the formula. I still don't think that they can win a series, but they could definitely win a game if you get something like what you saw Saturday or Sunday against what is a good team.
I'm still so perplexed as to how you can watch what happened this weekend, say what you just said, which is, Pablo Lopez could be a number 1 starter. Ooh, Sonny Gray could be a number 1 starter. But then you're like, but I still can't see a path to them winning 2 out of 3 games against the Blue Jays.
Because I don't think that they'll get 2 starts like that. I think they can get 1.
So this is a good segue into the first category, which is, what would your current playoff rotation be? Who would be your number 1, 2, and 3 starters in what order against the Blue Jays? All 3 games, 3rd game if necessary at Target Field.
So I'm going Pablo 1.
Oh.
I think he's your best pitcher. I just flat out think like he is your. I like Gray a lot of times, and there is definitely some dog there with Gray. But the one thing that the one thing that scares me, and look, I think he's an ornery cuss. Like, I like that. But the one thing that scares me with Gray is there are times when he probably should be smart, and he's like, screw it. I'm going to stick with my plan. And so I think Pablo is more of a flat line guy. He's super competitive, but he's a guy I would want pitching game 1. I would then have Gray pitch game 2. Game 3 is an interesting question.
Is it Kenta Maeda?
He's pitched
It can't be Joe Ryan right now unless he comes back and looks like he did
I think it's
injury
Kenta
that he
Maeda.
had. Yeah.
And he's been damn good.
I
He
know
had the
he
one
has.
trainwreck start, a couple months ago, but
I think you're right. Dex, what do you think?
I would go Sonny 1.
Okay.
I want the bulldog. I want the guy who knows what he's doing. I want the guy who goes rogue a little bit. And it's not someone that's randomly, like if Bailey Ober decides to go rogue in a playoff game, we got problems. But I think Sonny Gray, who is, 10 years of service time basically, pitched a little bit in the postseason, that attitude and that mantra he has, I want that to start my series. I do. I would probably then go Pablo 2, obviously. And if Joe Ryan comes back and looks like Joe Ryan, then he's game 3. But you can't make that assumption, I think, right now, just knowing the state of his injury situation. But I would flip it from what you said. I want Sonny Gray on the mound for game 1.
yeah, I wouldn't really fight. I think your number one and number two stars are Pablo Lopez and Sonny Gray, and you both make good arguments. I think I wouldn't, if the Twins decided to line it up, Sonny Gray number one. Sonny Gray has probably had overall the best season. He has started 4 playoff games in his career. They've all gone, 3 of them have gone fairly well. He's got 2 wins. One of them was kind of debatable. He walked a bunch of guys, but so he's done it. He's done it before a couple times here and there. I don't know that really matters as much. I think I would probably just go Sonny Gray game 1. Because if you get the best version of him, I think if you got the best version of every starting pitcher, I think Sonny Gray is your best. And then, so I would hope that I get the best version of Sonny Gray in game 1. Then I'd have the stability of Pablo Lopez in game 2. If I needed a game 3, I might even choose Maeda over Joe Ryan, just because I feel like Kenta Maeda, he just seems so flatline, man. It just feels like he's going to go out there and he gave you the 5 solid innings against the Astros a couple years ago in a playoff game. You also, if you need, you got Randy Dobnak in reserve if you need some playoff experience for game 3. I don't know. We haven't thrown his name out there.
Yeah, is he pitching in a town ball?
What, are you trying to get this show canceled?
Yeah.
He's got some playoff experience.
Yeah, he's great with the Saints. God bless him. He's exactly where he belongs.
What if Joe Ryan comes back and he looks like the Joe Ryan from the first 2 or 3 months of the season? Then what? Game 3, and then Maeda's your rover. Okay.
Yes.
It's interesting though. You bring up Maeda being a flatliner. I feel like, and I don't know, you're trying to insinuate this point, but he's much more of a bulldog, and he wears his heart in his sleeve when he's on the mound. If he gives up a hit, he gets pissed. He's not, I think, Sonny Gray level, but he's much more of an animated pitcher, which is fine, by the way.
Yeah,
I like that in a playoff game. I would actually I would consider Joe Ryan more of a flat line. I feel like his mood doesn't change whether he's pitching a gem or getting rocked.
I think I mean more like his performance is more of a flat line.
Yeah, I know
that you kind of know. I know he gave up. He probably has the worst start of any of these pitchers. Maybe not. Joe Ryan had a couple where he gave up 14 home runs or whatever. But I think you kind of know, hey, Kenta Maeda is going to find a way to get you 5 or 6 and give up 3 or less. And could you work with that? And to me, there's a chance that Joe Ryan could get knocked out in the second inning because he gives up 5 home runs. He's tipping pitches or something.
Oh yeah,
but
if
you
has
get the
to
best
change.
version of Joe Ryan, then he pitches
story.
a freaking 8-inning gem with 14 strikeouts, right?
Yes.
So okay, but laying it out that way, you can see why there are clearly paths to doing something in October, which brings me to the next category. Jim Souhan calls out people like Judd in his column.
Yeah, which is funny because a month ago he wanted to fire everybody.
So let me read this because I feel like each of these could be literally directed right at Judd. So I'm going to read this and you can react, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Snooty Twins fans could use a dose of realism and ought to chill a bit. Somehow the Twins putting themselves on pace to enter the playoffs with a strong rotation and a rising ace in Pablo Lopez is not good enough for some fans. The most celebrated men's professional sports team in Minnesota history is the 1987 Twins, who won Minnesota's first major championship. That team won 85 games. Then the 87 Twins, with 2 reliable starting pitchers, won the World Series and buzzed through the postseason. These realities do not seem to be registering with a horde of dissatisfied Twins fans who loudly lament their team's inability to run away with the division title. Go ahead, Minnesotans, turn up your noses at a potential division winner. When your state is awash in championships, you have every right to be snooty, right? Judd?
I'm trying to find it because there was the back-to-back Souhan columns. Let me see if I can find this here. There's the back-to-back Souhan columns. I want to say it was in July, at which he talked to Joe Polad, who talked about urgency. And then he followed it up with a column basically saying, this team is lost. This team is in deep trouble. And then he followed that up with a column saying, after a decent trip, I believe, I take it all back. And now he's turned on the fan base. And look, first of all, I don't know that the most celebrated team is the 87 team. The most celebrated team might be the 91 team, first of all. But second of all, and I've talked to our friend Tom Bernard on his show about this before because he was around and a huge Twins fan in 87 and 91, okay? Mm-hmm. The difference was in 87, that team was a young team coming up and like starting to reach and fulfill its potential. And that team was a lot mentally tougher than this team. Herbeck, Gaetti, Puckett, Brunansky.
Viola.
So yeah, exactly. And yes, they had 2 pitchers. And look, nobody has said, I don't think, especially us, a bad word for the most part about the starting pitching, right? The starting pitching for the 2023 Twins has been for the most part fantastic. Yes, it's fallen off since the All-Star break some, but that regression is natural. But far more importantly is that this team has been maddeningly inconsistent. They've been swept by the Royals. They have lost 3 or 4 to the Tigers, not once, but twice. And so I don't think that it is anyone's business to basically rip the fan base. If this team makes a playoff run, good for them. But nonetheless, the 87 team was far more endearing. It was far more of that team used the Metrodome to its fullest advantage, which, back in the old days, Phil, on our show, Smalley and I argued about, because I said you guys wouldn't have won the World Series without the Dome. This team, to me, has been far more frustrating, and I'm not about to back off my contention until we see way more consistency. I'm not about to back off my opinion that the starting pitching's been good, but this team has to consistently score runs. It has to do far more. It has to not play dumb games. I'm not backing off that. No way.
I would say, which is what I've been harping on, is we know that they're in position to win the division. We know they're in position to most likely go to the playoffs and snap a playoff losing streak. In terms of them competing with the big dogs, Texas, Baltimore, and then the National League, which is completely loaded with Atlanta, who's probably is the favorite, like there is a clear gap between the Twins and those 5 teams. But I do think it is completely obtainable for the first time in 20 years to win a playoff game. And it might be a low bar. That's very sad. But that's what my bar is at. In terms of them being serious as World Series contenders, yeah, I have numerous questions that we've all laid out. But I see the path to them getting to the playoffs and winning a playoff game. And to me, it's all gravy after that.
Yeah, I think where there's a couple things on this. I think where there is still a lot of hope in terms of like winning a series or making a run is in addition to having reliable starters that we just talked about and a lights out closer. You've got the bones on the run prevention side to hold a team to 3 runs. The lineup that could go score 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever it is. By the way, they haven't scored more than 5 runs in a playoff game also since 2004. Wow. That 0-18 stretch, I don't think they've scored more than 5 runs offensively in any of those games. Maybe Declan, you can look that up before the show's over.
Actually, yeah, check that out, would you?
Why don't you look that up for us?
Who started game 2? Was it a lefty? Was it a righty?
Declan, maybe you can look that up.
Does it matter?
But we haven't seen the fully realized version of this lineup yet. We haven't seen, like, I want to see Kirilloff back. And again, what's the percentage chance that all of this is even able to come together before the end of September into October? I don't know. Right. I want to see Kirilloff back. I want to see Royce Lewis back. I want to see those guys in the lineup with Julian, with Matt Wallner, with this version of Max Kepler, right? And then Carlos Correa finally sort of, these are ifs. Byron Buxton, like but that's where the hope comes from that, my God, there's still a lot of room for this lineup to actually be. That 87 Twins lineup in the regular season was actually a top 10 offense. That was a top 10 run scoring offense. So who is this team has better pitching. That team had a better offense. That team also had Kirby freaking Puckett, right? Mm-hmm. A Hall of Famer at the center of the order. Kent Herbeck, not a Hall of Famer, but one of the great players in Twins history. For 10 years, one of the best hitters in baseball. Who's the Kirby Puckett? That's what we need to identify to really start comparing this team to the 1987 team. And if you can find me the Kirby Puckett between now and October, I will entertain the 87 discussion much more aggressively.
It's supposed to be Correa, right?
It is supposed to be Correa.
But
it could be Lewis. It could be Lewis. It could be Kirilloff.
That's a lot to put on that plate, though, at this point in time. I mean, Puck came up in 84, so Puck was 3 years in. Like, that's the thing is, can you say to Kirilloff or Lewis, hey, kid, you're the man? I mean, that's just a lot to ask. And I like those guys. But, yeah, when you have Herbeck, Gaetti, Puckett, Brunansky at the time, that team had a lot of good parts.
Yep.
So I find it difficult to compare them, and especially when the consistency from your highest paid player has not been there. He's had some nice little stretches, but like, can you put that together? Score some runs too, because it's not fair too to basically send out Lopez or Gray and say, okay, it's the Blue Jays, shut them down. Like, there has to be a give and take there, right?
Well, go score. This is what they haven't done.
As you
When
said,
we talk
5
about
runs.
do they have the pitching or do they do this? Why don't you just score? There's no rule against just going and scoring 11 runs in game 2.
But what you just said, how about 5 or 6?
Well, it's crazy.
You're
like
right.
That 06 team that was one of the best lineups in Twins history. They couldn't do it.
Well, the 19 team.
The 19 team, the greatest home run hitting team in baseball history.
Go
score 9 runs. Go
and
score
2
9
games
runs.
in Yankee Stadium.
So in 04, they, in the losing efforts after winning game 1, they
Good
scored.
job, Declan.
They scored 6 in 12 innings in game 2. They scored 5 in 11 innings in game 4 of the series clincher. Since then, they have never scored more than 4 runs in a playoff game.
More than 4. I said more than 5. So more than 4.
More than 4. Never scored more than 4.
Dude, that is. But on the pitching side, no.
Yeah.
Pitching's been pretty bad too. That's almost more insane than losing 18 playoff games. Not having scored more than 4 runs in a playoff game and like go lose 8-7 or something, right?
Yes.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yep.
A guy who might be able to help with that, our next category, Joey Gallo. With one of the best games of his career on Saturday. People were upset that he didn't then play on Sunday, but it was a left-handed starting pitcher, right? So I want to give you guys some bizarre Joey Gallo stats here, updated here. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the weird when it comes to Joey Gallo. Let's start with the good. Joey Gallo went 4 for 4 on Saturday, only his second multi-hit game since the middle of May. Mm-hmm. And he busts out with 4 hits. Mm-hmm. He leads the Twins with 20 home runs, and his OPS is higher than Max Kepler, Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and Jorge Polanco. So I get it, and we'll get to the bad and the weird, but if I had told you before the season, hey, we're going to be halfway through August, and Joey Gallo is going to lead the Twins in home runs and have a higher OPS than Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Jorge Polanco, and Max Kepler, would you take it or leave it? I think all of us would have said, oh my God, without context, right?
Right, exactly.
We would have said, oh God, that's amazing. We're getting like peak Joey Gallo. This is great. All right, the bad.
Yes.
42% of his plate appearances are strikeouts, which is by far the worst in Major League Baseball. The next closest is 38%. So nobody else is above 40%. He's at 42%. His 185 batting average is the 4th worst among Major League Baseball regulars. He has 4 RBI on non-home runs this season. 4 RBI on non-home runs. Runner on third, can you hit a fly ball, hit a ground ball? How about a runner on second, maybe a base hit to shallow left or something? None of that happens with Joey Gallo.
Wow.
And then I'll give you the weird. So here's his pie chart of hits by category. 20 home runs this year, 17 singles, 9 doubles, and a triple. So he has more than twice as many home runs as doubles. He has 3 more home runs than singles. Mm-hmm. When the bases are empty, Gallo's OPS this season is 200 points higher, almost 200 points higher than when there are men on base. So when you get a bases empty Joey Gallo,
I buy that.
It's go time. Let's
Yep.
go.
It does feel like that. Yep.
In terms of what happens when he hits a fly ball this year, so if he can make contact, 26% of Joey Gallo's fly balls are home runs this year. Dude, think about that. When he hits a home run, there's a 1 in 4 chance.
So if he makes contact,
it's gone.
If he makes contact and gets the ball in the air, it's probably going out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. He still has 0 sacrifice flies this year. He only has 3 career sacrifice flies. And I had some people on Twitter ask me, what's the context of that? Like, how many sac flies do people hit? So he has 3 for his career. There are 40 hitters this year, without counting their careers, with at least 5 sac flies in the 2023 season.
How's that even possible?
Dude,
I don't know.
Everything
His
about him
profile
is
would
so weird.
scream sacrifice fly at times, right?
Yeah, go hit a fly ball somewhere.
Like
where
to the
runner
warning
on base.
track.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I don't know. That's the good, the bad, and the weird with Joey Gallo coming off one of the best days of his entire career on Saturday.
It's been like a weird drug trip. I'm set for it to end after this season.
Are you mad that they didn't just keep riding the hot hand, throw him out there on Sunday? Who cares who the starting pitcher is?
No.
I saw some outrage there.
Really? I've seen enough that that's one I actually don't mind at all.
Okay.
Not playing him, I should say.
Yeah. No, good for him for going 4 for 4. That was amazing. But all right, and then another category here. And if you guys have other things before we get to Immaculate Grid, feel free to throw them out. But I think it's time to circle back on a guy that we all kind of left for dead. Mm-hmm. Emilio Pagan. So you guys all wrote him off. I don't know. I've always been a big fan.
Yeah, you were last season. You're like, just be patient. Derek calls me all the time to talk about him.
Yep. So he now has a 3.20 earned run average, his best since 2019. He has a career low home run rate allowed, only 4 home runs allowed all season after allowing 26 combined in the previous 2 years. And since June 15th, the last 2 months, he has a 1.54 earned run average over 24 appearances. Now, I will add, for context, when the Twins are ahead, Pagan's OPS allowed is 400 points better than when the Twins are, it's 400 points higher or worse.
Yes.
Than when the Twins are
behind.
So he's really good when they're behind. He's really bad when they're ahead.
Yes.
By 400 point OPS difference.
Including that Dodger Grand Slam, right? That he allowed back in, was that
early.
May?
Yeah, it was early. It was like April or May.
Yeah, I think it was May.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he's been in the role that they put him in here. He's been what they've wanted him to be for 3 years. He's finally the version of himself that they thought they were getting when they acquired him.
We should at some point in time here soon do on our Twin show a playoff trust tree, though. Like, who do you trust in a playoff game? Because like Pagan, I'd still be like, oh, yeah, he's done some good things. But when the pressure's on, he's melted down at times. I don't know that, despite the fact that statistically he has been far improved from a year ago, I don't know Emilio Pagan would make my personal Twins trust tree in a postseason game.
No, if you needed, let's say you're down 5-2 or something, and you're probably going to lose the game, and you need a guy to go 2 innings so that your actual good relievers can be preserved for game 3.
Yep.
Then that should be his role, right?
Yes, I'm saying let's say you're up by 2, late game, playoff game pressure. Like my trust tree would not involve Pagan. It would. I would, despite his struggles on Sunday, put Griffin Jacks before Pagan for sure.
Yeah,
Caleb Thielbar for sure.
Yeah, he's been great since he came back. Mm-hmm. Feels like he's been really on point.
And then maybe the guy from Dylan Floro or whatever might fall into that category above Pagan. I think if you give him like 2 more months, I think you'd put him above Pagan in that category.
Better than Jorge Lopez. Granted, that's a very low bar.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a hard bar to reach.
So, by the way, speaking of Thielbar, what was your guys' take on Phillies fans? I mean, it was like outrage. 42,000 announced attendance, outrage. I get it. It was definitely a bad call. But, dude, it's a full count. That's a pitch that's moving across the plate. Like,
yeah, foul pitch off.
I don't know.
But when dude slams his bat, Philly fans are going to jump on that, right? Because he incited him. Like he literally took it. He did the Little League Babe Ruth teenage kid pissed off. He literally he didn't like throw his bat. He like took it 2-handed, slammed it, and then I think he slammed his helmet too. So I think the fans were incited there, and then the guy kept calling some strikes, and they just got more and more pissed off.
Yeah, I think, if I could be objective here for a moment, if this were flipped around, I do think my commentary would be, why are we still flipping coins on these pitches when we clearly have the technology? Right. If we've got the technology to even challenge it, why can't each team get like 3 challenges? Like in tennis, you can challenge a call.
I think we're going to get that next year. I don't think that I think we're a few years away from the fully robot umpire system, but what, Declan, is it on the weekends now that they do the challenge in AAA? I think we get that.
There's literally, actually, I sat in that person's seat for the Saints game I covered on Wednesday. There's just a spot that just says reserved for the automatic ball and strike guy in the press box on the farthest left side of the main media.
You took a seat?
Well,
Why weren't they there?
They're not there. They're only there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're not
Well, I
there.
feel
Feels like they should be
day
there.
games.
It
Feels like
they
an
should be
odd
there more
place
often.
to cut the budget.
No.
That's weird.
And then you took the chair. So, like,
the
if that
chair.
person tried to come in and do their job, it's Declan Goff with his
Chip
scorebook.
Scoggins got there. You know, it's a 1 o'clock first pitch. I think Chip got there at 10:30. You know, he
course
got
he
the
did.
first. He got the first
Chip.
seat, and then there was a couple other independent.
That's late for Chip, by the way.
yeah, that is late for Chip, and his phone was charging the whole time.
He tried to get in at
I do
7
that
a.m.,
too.
but the doors were locked.
Oh, believe me, he's done stuff like that before. The airport's the best chipper of all time. We gotta go.
We gotta go.
It's like
Chip, the flight's
5
not for
a.m.
2 days.
It's
We
like-
gotta go. We gotta get there.
I'm with Chip. I'm with Chip on that one.
I don't disagree with him, but
I love an early airport
oh boy,
leaving.
But
2 hours.
if you're like a beat writer or a columnist who's traveling, you should have TSA pre-check or something.
this was before that
You can
though.
kinda-
Yeah.
So like this was before that existed, and so Chip would just get there at like if it was a 7:45 flight, 5 a.m. ish.
I love it.
Like
Oh my
we got
God.
there a few times. The airport was not open yet. It's like, the airport opens in 15 minutes. We once had to wait in Charlotte. We once had to wait across the street in a vacant parking lot for the rental car return place to open.
God, that's great.
Chip, our flight's not till Saturday. It's Tuesday. Why are we?
go.
Why are we here?
I
You
love
gotta
him
go.
dearly. He's one of the great guys of all time.
Oh,
Love
he's
him.
amazing. Yep. So, all right, it's almost time for the Immaculate Grid Challenge here on the SKOR Twin Show, presented by our friends over at Livia Judd. Tell the audience how they can get in the best shape of their life and lose weight here the rest of the summer.
Well, first of all, congratulations to our friends because they were just named Minnesota's best weight loss program for the 3rd consecutive year. That's right, 3 consecutive years. Round of applause. That's 3 years gold and 14 years of changing lives. 3 years gold also means that this is the offer today, a limited time offer. So listen closely. 3 months free if you join today. That's right. We have heard from a bunch of people who watch or consume our SKOR North content, who have followed the lead of Sports Dad and joined a program that works. And every one of them has come back and sent us notes and said, this program works. It's fantastic. And not only do they help you drop those unwanted pounds, they help you keep those unwanted pounds off. And that is the most important thing. So again, 3 months free, limited time offer, award-winning program that you can join. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. Find out why they have been named Minnesota's best weight loss program 3 consecutive years, Livia.com.
Also, hey, the Twins play most of the rest of the month at home. They've got a 5-game homestand against Detroit. And so it starts tomorrow, a little 2-gamer against Detroit, and then Pittsburgh over the weekend, a quick trip to Milwaukee for 2 games next week, then back home for 7 against Texas and Cleveland. So some huge games the rest of the month here.
Yeah.
And you can get tickets, twins.com/tickets, twins.com/tickets. Royce Lewis might be coming back here pretty soon. Huh?
And one of those 2 Detroit games, if I'm not mistaken, they are going to honor Miguel Cabrera on his final trip
that's
to
right.
Target Field.
Dude, it is
Rocking chair,
rough.
perhaps.
Have you looked at that dude's stats this season?
Yeah, he
How many
actually had a
home runs
decent
would you
series
get?
against the Twins, but it's been really, really rough.
Guess how many home runs he has?
9.
5.
Miguel Cabrera has 1 home run this year.
That's sad. Well, I mean, this is where David Ortiz was a genius.
Really bad. Dude.
David Ortiz walked away really good.
Dude, so he hit his 500th home run 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, what great
He
power
has
he went
508 home runs right now.
That Oppo power
God.
back in his heyday was so impressive.
Yep. It's
it's sad.
literally been like
Well,
so he was kind of an honorary all-star last year, but if you take that away, he hasn't made an all-star game in 8 years.
Wow.
But you pay a guy $30 million a year for
He's not going to walk away. But this is the
I
Zolgad
wouldn't.
plan. This is why the Zolgad plan is in place.
what's
For the love of
Zolgad
God.
plan
For
exactly?
the love of
You
God.
walk away at your
walk
peak of
away.
powers, and you're not Peyton Manning fluttering
David
football.
Ortiz.
Miguel Cabrera 1 home run.
Do you remember his last year was inspiring, and the Sox are like, stick around, man. And he's like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. Cabrera
I
was
watch this.
dude, he was literally cooked 6 years ago. And he's like,
Yep.
well, I
Contract.
got about $190 million left on my contract here. So
Yeah.
I think I'll just keep playing. But he'll be at Target Field. You can watch him kind of.
I think he's going to get a rocking chair or something.
Yeah, are you tired? You just drew a walk and you're at first base. You want us
Just
to
give him the
call
rocking
timeout
chair.
here? Take 5?
Pick him off.
So, all right, here's what we're going to do, boys. We are going to put 6 minutes on the clock by popular
6?
demand. Dude,
All
enough
right.
people have reached out saying, why do you guys put a 5-minute limit on it? Well, because we would sit here all day trying to figure out, did you guys do the one yesterday where it was like,
Yes.
find a royal who was a tiger, and there is
Yes.
none.
Who
Omar
did I have?
Infante was
Omar
was the
Infante.
most.
I think I did get that one.
I think Pat Sheridan was too.
So I had I think it was a 15 rarity score with 1 square to go, and it was the Royals.
It was a
a
hard
royal
one.
who was a tiger,
Yeah.
and I couldn't think of any,
Yeah.
and so I lost. I had a 15 rarity score going into that last one.
You can see the rarity score now before you finish.
You can add it up. You can see the percentages when you choose someone.
Oh, I didn't know that's how. Okay, got it.
A rarity
that's how
score
it
is literally it's literally the percentages added up.
Oh, how
The
about
more
that?
you learn. Yep. So here's what we're
Thanks,
looking to
NBC.
do.
The more you know.
We're looking to fill 9 squares here. We're going to put 6 minutes on the clock because it's more than 5 minutes, but it's not an hour, and we'll go from there. So we need a Yankee who was a Guardian, a Yankee who was a Washington Nat
Or Expo.
and then a Yankee who stole 30 bags.
Oh, I got that one.
I got that too.
Okay. We need a Ray who was a Guardian, a Ray who was a Nat or an Expo, and a Ray who swiped 30 bags. And then we're looking for a 200 hit Guardian, a 200 hit Nat or Expo, and a 200 hit season that was also that also had a 30 stolen base season at some point. 6 minutes on the clock. We must go 9 for 9 to be immaculate. Here we go.
If I may suggest for the Yankee who also played for Washington/Montreal, John Wetland.
Whoa, dude.
WETT.
I love that one.
Great closer.
It's a great one. Dirty hat. Really dirty hat.
Yes, he did, but that should not be big on percentage.
2%. How about Carl Pavano for Yankee and Guardian?
There you go.
I love it.
It's a really good one.
Nice work. Nice work. Nice work.
Okay.
Got this.
A Yankee
0.2.
A Yankee
0.2. Wow.
A Yankee who stole 30 plus bases. Ricky Henderson would be one.
Brett Gardner.
Oh,
Who I
which
thought.
one's
Yeah.
more? Which one's going to be more rare there?
That depends on the.
I would bet Brett because people know Henderson stole a bunch of bags, even though
Yeah.
he is
I'm just
old
thinking
school.
they might have forgot that he played there, but that's fine.
Just
Yep,
for fun,
go.
I don't think we should use it. But before his knee injuries, did Mickey Mantle ever swipe 30 bags? We don't have to. We don't have to use it. I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
that seems very, very dangerous. Babe Ruth.
Dude, he might have stolen some bags.
There's a hot dog at second base, babe. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it, damn it. Okay, all right. Brett Gardner's fine.
Gardner?
I saw an image of there was like an old. I follow these old. Go ahead. Let's do Gardner.
19.
90%. Okay.
Yeah, I think Ricky
There was a
Henderson
photo
might
of Babe Ruth knocked unconscious running into a concrete wall
Yeah.
in a stadium.
Yes.
And they say it was like
That's a famous photo.
the third inning of game 1 of a doubleheader. He came back in the game and then played all 9 innings of the second game.
Yeah.
They revived him on the field.
I remember that one.
Kevin Kiermaier ever steal 30?
BJ Upton. is
BJ
who I was gonna
Upton.
say.
Okay.
Or Melvin Upton, whatever he's listed as.
Carl Crawford?
Crawford for sure. Let's go BJ Upton.
Okay.
16.
Okay. A Nat who, how about let's do these Rays here. We got 4 minutes left.
Fernando Rodney pitched for
Yeah.
both these clubs.
I think you're right on
Sideways hat. Rodney, we go with Fernando. 14.
that. Damn,
Huh,
14
that's
on
interesting. That's more than I thought.
that? How about a Guardian? We can knock out some 200 hits here too. So Expos.
So
Did Larry Walker ever
Did
have 200?
Kipnis play for Tampa Bay?
not Tam. I don't know if he went
Maybe.
there.
I can't say with
Okay.
confidence.
All right.
Kipnis might have had a 200 hit season actually.
Kipnis was
Kenny Lofton. Kenny Lofton would have
I think,
had
is our-
200.
Is our safe one.
Who else can? I mean, Carlos Baerga,
Did
Roberto Alomar.
200 is
Yeah,
a
they're-
lot.
yeah, but it
Like,
wasn't.
It's
but,
a lot.
But
And
to
it's got to
Phil,
be top of the order, guys.
but to Phil's point, it didn't used to be like now.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but like these old school guys that Phil is talking about did it a lot more frequently.
That is correct. Yeah.
So
Are we pretty confident on Kenny Lofton?
Yeah.
Okay.
He led off and he batted 700 times a year and hit. Okay.
Wow, 50.
50%. Oh my God.
So that tells me that there's I bet Kipnis or like Grady Sizemore didn't do it.
Yeah.
Grady.
Okay.
Because those are more recent players.
I love Grady. Hell of a
How
player.
about a
Too bad
national
Spirit
or an
came
expo with 200 plus hits?
Did Delino DeShields ever do it? Larry Walker?
I think Vlad probably was safe. Vlad with the Expos.
Vlad had to have. Back in
Vlad
the
had to
90s?
have. Yeah. With the Expos, I mean, he was their team.
Those Expos teams were good, too.
Vlad?
Yeah, it's got to be. He's got it.
83.
83.
Oh, boy.
Jeez.
I bet
So
Larry
our
Walker.
rarity score sucks here, but
Yeah, it's been shot down to hell.
a 200 hit season who also had a 30 plus stolen base season. Now that can be in different seasons, right? It's just
Yeah,
a player
did
who
Pete-
had both.
Did
So,
Pete Rose steal 30 plus bases? Because he definitely
Probably.
had
Ichiro did.
200 hits.
Ichiro, we could get it. Can we show off here a little bit? Can we get obscure? We have 2 minutes left.
I think I like Walker, Judd, because didn't we use him for
Larry Walker.
yeah, didn't we use him for another stolen base one that we were like shocked by? I remember I'm having deja vu over
He was a great base runner.
Yep.
Larry Walker.
Let's
Yep.
try it. Let's get dirty.
Larry Walker. All right.
Yep.
Oh, 0.3.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
go. Let's go.
Awesome.
And now we just need a Ray who was a Guardian. Rajai Davis?
Rajay Davis. I don't
Did he
know if
play for
Rajay. He played for Cleveland. I don't know if he played for Tampa. I'm trying to think of Twins. Did Jason Bartlett go to Cleveland? No.
Oh,
I don't think
man.
so. What about random relievers?
Casey Blake ever play for the Rays?
No, I don't think he did.
Dodgers.
When I looked that up, I don't think he was ever a Ray. This is a hard one.
I'm trying to think of like way back, like
Was there
double
any,
Rays.
like-
Is this an Edwin Jackson situation for us too?
So
He definitely pitched for the Rays, right?
I don't.
No, if he pitched for the Guardians though.
I don't think the Gardos had an Edwin Jackson stop.
Was there any?
Um,
I'm trying to think of position
Scott Kazmir?
players.
Oh, what's his name? Who was the stud? Corey Kluber. Didn't Kluber pitch for the Rays?
Oh, good call. Yes, he did.
he did.
Yes, I think he spent a year there,
He spent a year
like
at
3 years
Texas.
ago. Yep, but then I think he bounced to the Rays and the Yankees and then the Red Sox. No, I think Phil nailed it.
Kluber.
Yep,
All right.
Good.
yep.
Pulling the trigger.
Or not. I don't know. We'll find out.
I think you
Let's
got
go.
it. No,
Let's
no.
go.
You got it, dude. Good call.
Let's go.
Good call.
What was Kluber's
There you go,
percentage,
Byron
by the way?
Buxton. What?
Oh wow,
18.
dude! The average score was 5.4, which this is one of the hardest immaculate grids that we've ever seen.
But okay, yeah, there's only 4 Expo Nationals that have ever done that, so that's gonna
Yes.
automatically like put you in a tough spot.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, dude. The 200 hits. It doesn't happen anymore because guys strike out way more often. They walk way more
but
often.
it used to
There's-
happen way more often.
Yeah. Can you take a peek at who are the 4? Does it show you for the?
Let's
It's
see.
not going to be for the YouTube audience here. It'll just be your own window. but-
Vlad,
Larry
Jose,
Walker.
Vidro.
Jose Vidro.
Vidro,
Yeah.
say
dude,
him?
yes.
Yeah, he was
Jose
good.
Vidro. Yep.
Oh, Gredzelanek. Mark
Mark
Gredzelanek.
Gredzelanek. If we ever need an
And Al
expo who was a
Oliver, my
Dodger.
guy. Loved Al Oliver.
Al Oliver.
I loved Al. Number 0.
Mm.
Mark
What about the 8
Gredzelanek.
Rays who stole 30? Did
8
Jason
Rays.
Tyner steal 30 one time for the Rays?
Well, Wander Franco did it.
Wander's
Randy
got- Wander's
Rosarena,
got other problems.
BJ Upton, Desmond Jennings. Man,
Desmond Jennings.
He was a great fantasy baseball. Bartlett did.
Mm.
Oh,
Jason
wow.
Bartlett did. Carl
Oh,
Crawford, Julio Lugo.
Oh, Julio Lugo.
Oh,
great fan.
and you know who did it in 2001? I had no idea. Jason Tyner.
Oh,
I told you. That's what I said. Jason Tyner.
Oh,
That
did you
would've
say
been good.
Tyner?
Wow.
I mean,
That'd be great.
I said it after we got done, but
Yeah, you did.
hey, great work, you guys. We are immaculate today.
6 minutes.
Nice job. Next thing you know, there's going to be 47 minutes on the clock. Here we go. We talk about every
I was
player in
talking
the
about-
history of Major League Baseball.
Wait,
I got to do
put
that.
the extra minute of stoppage time. You guys spent
Hockey
40
one.
seconds about Babe Ruth chasing a guy at second base, and I was like, are we gonna just burn the extra minute here talking about
Babe
Babe
Ruth crashed into a wall and then came back and played after being knocked out cold.
He was knocked out cold, and then he came back, played the rest of the first game, and then played the second game of the doubleheader.
Yeah.
It was a great moment in baseball history. Also shows you, and then he had like 3 hits and a bomb or something afterwards. I don't know. Anyways,
Guys were
that's
tougher
your
back then,
SKOR
Phil.
Twin Show, State of the Twins episode on this Monday here, presented by Modest Brewing, modestbrewing.com. And yeah, check out the auction items up and also the buy it now items up on our Power of Sports Courage Kenny fundraiser all week long over at scorenorth.com/bid. We'll see you next time on the SKOR North Twin Show.